Oops.
Live.
What? Oh, hello, Cleveland.
Sorry.
Welcome to the Lift Heavy Run Long podcast, episode number 139. You can find us at www.liftheavyrunlong.com, on Twitter and Instagram at liftrunlong. Also, feel free to email me directly at the address wilson@liftheavyrunlong.com. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. If you're not a member of our Facebook group, you should be, because we want you to be there. Search for Lift Heavy Run Long Community and request to join right now. My name is Wilson Horrell. I am one of your hosts. I want to remind you that the Lift Heavy Run Long podcast is uncensored, so listen at your own risk. Lift Heavy Run Long has an app, and we want you on it. For $3.99 a month, you can be added to that app, and you'll be added to the Lift Heavy Run Long community. You'll have access to the greatest endurance trainer in the world, Ms. Valerie Hunt of RunRx.fit, and you will get 3 bodyweight exercises every week, 4 barbell strength exercises every week, and 4 WODs added to your calendar. For $9.99 a month, you can have access to all of the programs that Lift Heavy Run Long has to offer. What else is there? The
We have
goal
an app.
of Lift Heavy Run Long. Just got done talking about the damn app. The goal of Lift Heavy Run Long is to bring fitness to as many people as possible,
Distracted.
as inexpensively as possible. So if you or someone you know does not have $3.99 a month and you think that fitness would enhance your life, then please email me at wilson@liftheavyrunlong.com, and I'm happy to add you to the app free of charge. I am sitting next to the most beautiful woman in the world, Dr. Amanda Kimsey, Horrell, jacked, and tan. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. What's new?
Not much. Work, gym, podcast.
Work, gym, podcast. To her right, we have the Reverend
Hello.
Vaughn Rawls.
Hi.
How are you?
Fantastic.
Across from the Reverend.
Nobody's giving
It's a
you anything.
podcast. It's a podcast.
Well,
we talk
he's
on a
not-
podcast.
He didn't give anything back. Normally you
Well,
talk
we're going to
more.
get
You
the
just, like,
introductions
went-
out of the way, and then we'll talk.
Then you went like right to Brian. I was like, okay, well, that's okay.
Big Thirsty.
Apparently, they've forgotten how this format works. This is a conversation. You're like,
Yeah,
hey, man,
yeah.
welcome to the party. I'm like,
Just
hey,
got to pull it out of
I
them.
feel great. You know, this is what I did this past weekend, you know, and then at some point you tell me to shut up and we move on with the show.
That's
like,
how the podcast
They forgot
works.
how this works.
Yeah, there's some talking
It
involved.
hurts my feelings when he tells me to shut up. I feel like he doesn't want to hear what I'm saying. So
I have never heard Wilson tell you shut up. I think
When I
you-
don't want to
think-
hear what you're saying, then I'll say shut
I'll
up.
probably just make it all up. in my
Until
head,
then.
so.
I'm guilty of the same, so I know how that goes. Big Thirsty,
Dude,
how are you?
I'm well.
It's good to see you.
It's good to see you too.
What's new? You just got back from
man,
a 26.2 mile marathon.
You see what he did there?
Jesus.
With you, he didn't do that with either one of us. He's just like, okay, fantastic.
Because I live a more
Okay,
interesting life than you.
There, well, that's what it is.
That's it.
See, you're more interesting.
Brian does
I-
things in life.
I went to Virginia Beach and ran the Shamrock Marathon, sponsored by Yingling. I have not felt as wrecked as I do now by a marathon in as long as I can remember. Like, I don't even remember my first marathon hurting this bad, which is weird. And the only thing weird, I mean, it's a relatively flat course. It was a beautiful day. It was in the 40s and 50s, sunny out. The only thing odd about the course is that it was on or near the beach and as a result windy. I didn't think the wind had that much of an effect, but maybe that's the extenuating circumstances. Maybe it's just that I'm fat. I don't know.
Have you gotten fat?
I am on my way back to being fat.
Okay. I've never left there, so I don't know what that would look like to be unfat.
I bet it's
I'm going to argue with you on that, but
I've been unfatter.
I bet it's a mixture of all, like, fat, age, and the wind. altogether.
Does the road normally hurt you?
Did she just call me old?
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't
But
say
I was
old.
gonna
said age.
skim off of
I
that.
said age. He's just older than he was when he did his first marathon.
But I'm not significantly older than doing Dopey. I'm not significantly
And you're
older
not
than doing
any
Sylamore
fatter.
50K. I'm not significantly older than Tunnel Hill 50 miler in 2018. I'm not significantly older than doing the half marathon with a weighted vest.
You're not significantly fatter either.
And yet here I am sore. That's what I said. I think that
I think
the
that
only thing
significance gets smaller as time goes on. Like a significant amount of time is going to become less and less the older that you get.
I agree. Like a baby's first day is their entire life, where a day for us is like less than like 1/100% of our life, or 1/10% of our life. I don't know. Somebody do the math on that real quick. It's a lot less significant to us. So I agree.
Wow.
Let me talk about something.
Okay.
I'm very excited to talk about this, and it involves all of you.
Let's do it.
Today, okay, so we talked before about how I need to find something else to do, that my company has gotten to the size to where I need to find like another job or
You got a job?
I didn't get a job,
Okay.
but I signed up for this Vanderbilt University coding boot camp for computer programming.
Yeah, you did.
And, you know, I'm obsessed with this app and building this app. And so that's like been my whole universe since about November. So I started trying to teach myself computer programming. Wasn't really sure where I was getting. You turned me on to that coding boot camp, just kind of like, you may want to try this. Anyways, next thing you know, I'm interviewing for a position. They've got like 35 spots left. Or they have 35 applicants. They got 5 spots left, and you got to do an interview, take
You
a
must
test,
act now.
and take another interview. So I'm in this thing, and I call Amanda, and I'm like, I don't know, it's a lot of money, you know. I did this really, and Amanda's like, you need to do it. You totally need to do it. I'm like, but it's this much money. And she's like, well, education costs money, you know. And I think that it's so awesome that she took that stance, because for one, I was embarrassed to even say this is something that I want to do, because I felt like people would be like, you're too stupid to do something like that. And then for her to be like, yeah, you totally need to do that, instead of like, you need to go to Home Depot and get a job, or you need to, drive a dump truck and make up whatever income you're going to lose. So anyways, I'm in this coding boot camp. I run into problems, and I have Vaughn and Swanson on the other end of the slack line, and it's like having two like gods of computer programming at my disposal. And that's a totally cool feeling. Today, 3 days ago, whenever I contacted you, Vaughn, I was screwed. I'd been looking at that thing and trying to get it to do what I wanted it to do for hours. And then I finally got up the nerve to send it to you, and you're like, tick, 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 do that. Like, holy mackerel, that's what I had to do. That was it. That was it. And then same goes for today. And both of y'all immediately were like on it. And y'all both like stopped what you were doing and got right to it. And it took time. I know it was a time investment. But anyways, that's all I got. I just thought it was awesome. You came back, you fixed that problem. And I don't know if I would have I don't know when I would have gotten that problem fixed, but it wouldn't have been anytime soon.
Happy to help, man. I mean, this is what it's like to be a junior developer starting off. You got senior developers that you can rely on, and just glad that Vaughn and I could be those guys for you and be readily available.
Yeah, what is it? What is the thing that makes me so excited to help in that regard? Like, I love it. Like, I got to spend the whole weekend at Give Camp, like, just helping people do stuff I already know how to do. You know what I mean? And, like, I'm glad to do that. It just makes me so satisfied and fulfilled to, like, be like, oh, if you're in crisis and you're like, I know something that you don't know, I'm like more than happy to be like, I will tell you, I'll do it all for you.
I sense that.
If that's the thing. Like, if I know, if it's something that's like in my wheelhouse and I know it, I want to give it to you in plenty.
We
Like,
do enough in our day-to-day jobs using the knowledge and experience that we have that it becomes mundane and uninteresting. So when somebody has a question and we're like, oh, I know how to do that.
Right.
I can figure that out. Like it validates all the mundaneness of our regular lives. If that
But
makes
I
any
also
sense.
think there's something to being satisfied with being able to help people. Right?
True story.
Like I don't think it's just because, oh man, shit's so boring for me all the time, and all of a sudden something comes along that I can do. That, I mean, it's more so like I get more satisfaction out of knowing that I helped Wilson solve his problem, and I would do that all day long and be totally fine with it. You know.
Well,
So
both
I
of
don't know,
y'all,
there's not-
everybody knows what it's like to have a problem and be insecure about asking about the problem.
Sure.
And everybody knows what it's
don't.
like to be Swanson. God almighty.
Except for
I don't know how you get that ego through that garage
He
door.
knows everything.
I'm sorry, I'm just being an ass.
And then for y'all to, approach it the way that you do is very refreshing. Very cool.
Well, it's very important. One more thing to add to that. It's very important to me to help people, especially in that arena, because when I first started, I had a really good friend who was a brilliant programmer, knew how to do all the website stuff. And I was like, I was in your position. Like I didn't know anything, and I just thought it would be cool to learn how to make a website or build a web server or whatever it was. And I mean, I would hit him up on chat, like AOL, not AOL, but like IRC or something. I'd be like, hey man, I think about building a server. And then I'd get into that. And like, he would always answer my questions, like no matter what it was. Like, oh, I can't get this thing to install this driver or whatever it was, or I can't get this code to do this. He would always be on it. And so I feel like I owe that back to everybody else because he spent so much time helping me. And then I owe that to, when I see somebody like yourself doing the same thing that I was doing at the time, like I worked in merchandising at Fred's. Like I didn't have anything to do with IT. So I feel like it makes me feel good to give that back.
Well, I'm going to let you help. I'm going to help pay that debt in full. By the time you're done with me, you're going to be like,
Right.
I think I'm even with
not
this
helping
guy.
anyone else.
Like that's it.
Can we totally jump conversations?
Please.
19.5's been announced.
Oh, talk to
Oh.
me.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Thrusters
Yes.
and chest to bar pull-ups.
Oh my God, I got it. Yes.
33, 27, 21, 15, 9 reps for time of 95-pound thrusters and chest to bar pull-ups, time cap of 20 minutes.
Damn.
20-minute time cap, huh?
That
33
is a killer.
thrusters.
33, 27, 21, 15, 9.
it'll take me 20 minutes to get to the first round.
Well, now.
Holy cow.
95 pounds?
60, that's 105 reps.
95 pounds for the guys?
95-pound thrusters for the guys.
Damn it.
5 at a time, man. I'm not catching up with any of my competitors at this point, so I'm just going.
What would make you think that? I think you'll do better at this workout than me.
It does. I don't think it matters. I'm so far behind you and Scott.
You're not far behind me, I don't think.
I'm like 27, and you're like 16, and Scott is like 12 in the lift heavy run long leader.
I mean, as far as points, I don't think that we're very far off. I don't think you and I are very far off. I think that Scott probably has too much of a lead to.
Oh yeah, there's no way I'm catching Scott. I was looking at that today.
To
I didn't
catch
realize
Scott.
he was 12th in 12th place on the lift heavy run long leaderboard. That's pretty impressive.
I wish the thrusters would have had some heavier weight. That we would have had some heavier weight somewhere.
I guess we didn't, did we?
No.
Man, maybe they'll add tomorrow. Maybe well, Dave Castro's not around.
But I'm just complaining. That's a cool workout. That'll be fun.
Fran, nasty, some sort of gnarly Fran workout.
Man, that's a lot of chest
That's
to bar
basically
pull-ups.
what that is. That's Fran with chest to bar pull-ups. Well,
On crack.
A big, huge.
plus,
frame.
plus an
steroids.
extra 60 reps.
Yeah.
Fran with an extra 60 reps. Oh, and their chest to bar pull-ups.
We have a lot of good conversational stuff. What do y'all want to talk about first?
I'm
Let's
open.
talk about your podcast, Vaughn.
Okay.
What's the name of it?
It is called the Find My Way podcast.
And that is off of a Nine Inch Nails song?
It is. The Nine Inch Nails song is called Find My Way.
All right.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Well, there are a couple of reasons I started doing it, or a few reasons. Most of them are selfish. The selfish reasons are because I want to learn how to talk to people and interview people, and I'm not good talking on the phone. Everybody knows that. So I'm trying to be intentional about putting myself into very uncomfortable situations.
This is forcing yourself out of being an introvert.
Sure.
Ish.
Well, in a way, which is, I've had over the last couple of weeks, probably 5 online Skype interviews with people I do not know. And that's terrifying to me. And it did not go bad at all.
Nice.
So that's very good. So that's one of the selfish reasons. The other selfish reason is because I just want to learn more about podcasting, and I want to know the inner workings of like how all this stuff works. Like how does
Wilson can teach you that.
I know that.
This how you guys going to trade each other back
Sure.
and forth.
Sure, but I just want to like have that experience of, oh, that's how this works. You know what I mean? And we're all local, and I get that, but like now I'm specifically talking to people that are not located here. I actually talked to Janice Ferguson last night.
Oh, did you?
She's been on our podcast
Yeah.
before. She is a fantastic podcast guest.
Yes.
Because she just talks. Like I told her before we started,
Are you in a wrestling match with that headset over there?
settle down
Keep
now.
hearing that thing cranking.
Sorry, sir.
So I said, okay, I'm doing this over Skype. And so she goes, well, I use Zoom. Can we do that? And I said, well, I don't know what Zoom is, but let's try it. Right? Why not? And so we did the Zoom, and it was awesome. It was like way better than Skype. So I learned something.
Well, and you're gonna have to be willing to kind of meet your guests where they're at with whatever their technology they're comfortable with. So that's an important part of the process too.
Right. And normally people have Skype, but this one's just a link you click, and it's all like
Sure.
like there's no
All web based, no
there's
app.
no,
no app to
I
install.
just clicked. She sent me the link, and I just clicked on it. And I was like, whoa.
I mean, there are some Russians that are watching you on your webcam right now because you went to that website.
Could
Yeah,
be.
but I think
Could
there's
be.
Russians watching other places too.
Right. But the real reason that that sparked the thing for me to do this is because I've been trying to pay attention to things that I really want to do and care about. And that thing, one of those things is I really, really care about growth and watching people grow and like seeing success and how they're going about doing it, right? Like, what did you do? There's a weird thing like Brian can be super successful at everything, and I'm sitting over here going, man, I wish I could do what Brian's doing. But if I could have a conversation with Brian, I might learn something that I'm like, well, I could have done that. You know, that's a great idea.
It's kind of like finding your way to the seven habits of highly successful
Something
people
like
kind
that,
of thing. Like,
right?
you know, you're interviewing people and trying to figure out what makes them tick and how they got there. And
Right. Yeah, for
That's
sure.
awesome. That's awesome.
And kind of taking those things and trying to put those out there so that other people can see it and go, oh wow, that was a good idea. So that could be a longer conversation, but that's the gist of it. Yeah, and I'm enjoying it. So
Well, good. I'm proud of you for doing it because it'd be really easy to talk about doing that and not following through.
that is for sure. And I made the only mistake I've made so far is I got real excited about it in the beginning, and I scheduled like 10 like for 1 month. so like it's almost like for the last 3 weeks I've been like every night. Like I started coaching a class with my son and his basketball team at the gym for 3 nights a week. And so it's either that or the podcast every single night. So I'm like, I should have thought about this a little more. So now, anyway, I'm almost to the end of the first batch of people.
Oh, wait, that's not you. I just found Finding the Way podcast. I thought that was you. That's not you.
There is I guess there might be a find.
Well, one of the guys that you talked to on the podcast is from Canada and has that military experience.
Yes,
And
right.
you got invited to do that. And now you're thinking about doing it?
Well, I have to be careful about what I say.
Okay.
So
Should we just nix that
No,
conversation altogether?
not at all. If you want to talk about it, we can definitely talk about it. The guy, I won't say I got invited to do it. I had a podcast with the guy, Jeff DePazzi is his name. And he is, I'm not going to butcher what he is, but he was in a sniper unit in Canada and just a special forces type dude. And so he met his wife. He was teaching people to jump out of airplanes, teaching classes out in California, I think. And one day they weren't able to go on their mission because it was too windy. And so he said they ended up going out partying, and then they stayed out all night. And then the next morning they went to breakfast, and he met his wife. He saw his wife was there eating. And so she had told him, well, I don't want to be a military wife. And so he really liked her. They kind of fell in love. And so he decided he was going to find something else to do outside of the military. And so what he's done is he's created this experience called the Special Forces experience, which is an 8-day experience in Canada. And so in the course of talking, when I watched this guy and went to the website and watched the videos, I was like, it was some sort of like weird thing where I was like, I have to go do this. I have to go do this. Like I was more excited about it than I've been about almost anything, like whatever. And so my idea was when I get on the call with this guy, I'm going to tell him, hey man, I'm going to do this. Like I've been looking for a 100-mile race to do something. What am I going to do next? This is just like you've landed right in the perfect spot. I didn't think I could do it. I was like, I think I told the guy, I was like, next year, I think my goal is going to be that I'm going to apply to see if I can get in next year. And so we had a great conversation on the podcast. I'll try to put that out tomorrow. But long story short, I ended up applying for the thing.
And you're just not allowed to talk about what the thing is or give any details.
Not a whole
about
lot. I can give you what's on the website, which is if you poke around enough, you can kind of figure it out. And I've been accepted to go do it. So
Cool.
Nice.
So the challenge is they give you a set of coordinates, longitude and latitude. It's in Canada. You have to show up there on May the 10th at noon. And a bus comes and picks you up.
That's crazy.
And then this
I won't be
guy
able to
just
find that.
takes pot shots at you
I don't
with
know.
a sniper rifle.
You don't know.
It's like the most dangerous game.
I'm supposed to be getting a package in the mail that's supposed to give me some more instructions, and I've already gotten some instructions that I can't talk about, what I'm supposed to bring and those kinds of things. But anyway, they pick you up and take you out for 8 days, and it is a special forces experience. So you don't know what's going to happen. So there's going to be climbing, weapon stuff, like a complete immersive, it's supposed to be super challenging. Like,
Sounds cool.
it's terrifying. So, my challenge right now is I have to get to Canada, right? So I don't have a passport. And so that's the first little hurdle. I'm going to have a passport. It expired 7 years ago. It expired in 2011.
You can get it renewed in plenty of time
It's-
if you
well,
make
I've
that a priority.
I've been doing my research. Priority, you can get a passport in 2 weeks if you spend $250 or something like that. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's a blocker, right? I just have to find the money and do all that kind of stuff. So it looks like I'm going to Canada for this thing that is going to be the most incredibly challenging thing I've ever done in my life. The point being, it's supposed to be a personal growth type deal, hero's journey, that kind of thing. And you come back a different person. All right. So that's the long and the short of it, or the short of it. There's so much more that is so
If he
terrifying.
told us any more, he'd have to kill us.
No,
he'd
I
have
just-
to hunt down
I
every
just don't
listener
want
and every
to,
watcher
like,
of the
You should
podcast.
show up and be like, getting to Canada is the hardest thing I've ever done. This was so exhausting. I didn't
Right.
think I'd be able to make it. This next 8 days will be nothing compared to getting to Canada. Give me all you got.
Right. So it is probably the biggest thing I've ever. If I make it to Canada, it will be the biggest thing I've ever done. So it
It's
will
awesome,
be
man.
super
I'm
terrifying.
excited for you. Love to see you getting out of your comfort zone. Seriously. It's a good thing.
Way out of my comfort
Yeah,
zone.
it's a good thing.
So way.
Yeah, this is way out there. That sounds pretty
It's
awesome.
Really way out there. And so the whole thing is kind of designed for he said, like, endurance athletes or highly performing people that are looking for how to test their limits even further, right? So, yeah, I mean, it's a serious thing. Like, you have to go to the doctor and get your blood work done. You have to go and do all these things. There's a whole long list of checklists that I have to do or I can't go, right? So
You want to talk about something that's equally as serious and going to be equally as difficult and intense?
let's do it.
The Summer Smash Weight Loss Challenge at Olive Branch CrossFit.
There you go.
I'm excited about it. Are you going to do it?
Well, no.
Are you going to do it?
Yeah.
You would win it if you sign up and then haul ass
know.
to go to Guatemala
Come
or
back
whatever.
like ripped in
Yeah.
Guatemala and Canada.
It's France.
Same difference. With a bunch of Frenchmen.
Oh, God.
They're all French.
I'm doing it. Yeah,
Are you excited?
Wait, Canada is French.
I am.
But you're already on track. Like
yeah,
you're getting a
I
head
started.
start.
Yeah, I started Monday.
Man, so I kind of want to do, like, I want to take part in the challenge without putting money in because I don't think I'm going to win. But, like, I want to be a part of the experience of, like, doing the weigh-ins and trying to be motivated by everybody and stuff like that. But I just don't think I have a chance to win.
Well, I don't think there's a problem with that, is there?
I don't know.
I mean, if you're not throwing in or getting out, then
Yeah, I don't
there shouldn't be a
expect. I
problem
wouldn't
with
expect
that.
any payouts or anything
Well,
like that.
what are the details of this competition?
the weigh-ins tomorrow afternoon. You're going to weigh every 2 weeks. You put in $60,
but I think so.
and they pay out every
2 weeks.
2 weeks, and the deal goes on for
3 months.
3 months. As you can see, I don't have any information. I just keep looking at Amanda. And I'm like, you go to
Confirmation.
here, you pay what? It lasts for what?
Well,
It's like a Mad Lib, only Amanda's constantly in charge of it.
it's a summer shred at the gym where everybody's trying to lose some weight.
And you get points for
Get points.
different things, not just for
Yes.
weight loss. It's a composition thing, I guess, more than
It's
anything else. Is that the
Pounds
term?
lost, you get points. Percentage lost, you get points. I think inches lost, you get points.
And
Check-ins at the
Check-ins
gym,
at the
you
gym.
get points.
Yep.
Concentration curls,
What?
bench press.
Now he's making stuff up.
Yeah.
You know what I should do is throw in some surprise tasks for extra points or something.
Yeah.
Throughout the competition.
You put
See
on a
what-
really good competition when the gym first opened.
Did I?
Yes. You probably ought to look at your notes. And it hung around for a while.
Okay.
I distinctly remember
I
that.
don't remember that.
Yeah. Yeah. I could look at some emails.
I'll have to go look.
but
would
it
be-
was formulated, how you did it.
Well, I'm
I
just.
copied
I think
it from-
Lisa Roble won it.
Okay. I copied that from CrossFit Memphis, I believe. And we had books and everything. Yeah.
I'm worried because Laura Pinkley's in it again.
She dominated last year.
Yeah, she did.
She went off the deep end to win. Like, she cut out all the things.
Yeah, her nutrition
and,
was on point.
Yeah, she was not going to let anybody else take that from her. So
Well, I ordered my food from Eat Amped for this week. So that should be interesting. See how that goes.
Nice.
But what typically happens is in challenges is something like this is that I'll just get really fat for the challenge. So I'll be as fat as I can for the weigh-in, and then I bail out of the challenge. You know what I mean? It's like starting a diet on
So you can
Monday.
just
So Sunday you go to
stay
Crystal and you eat, a bunch of Crystal and chocolate milk, and then you don't wind up doing the diet on Monday.
That's basically where I've been. I'm pretending like I'm
That's where I
starting this
live.
diet.
I live in the challenge zone.
I'm pretending like I'm starting this diet, and I've been pre-gaming to get there, and then I probably won't do anything.
It's always summer shred somewhere. Like there's always a challenge I'm beefing up for around the corner. You never know.
I'm gonna win the next one.
You just want to watch and see how this one goes.
You're gonna
like-
take this one off to prep for the next one, and you're gonna dominate the prep.
Exactly.
Like the time leading up to it will be.
Well, I think we put this on the thing. One of the reasons it's on the list to talk about is because I think I saw a question of, do you think these kinds of programs are worth doing them, or are they important at all? And my answer to that is yes, I think it is. At this point, I'm not interested in it, but it can really be like a motivator for people. You know, I mean, if we go way down small on the community where Elijah posts that that picture, not stupid in any way.
No, I know what
It
you're
was
saying. Like that silly
picture where you look at it and it goes, damn it, he's weighing in again.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to go weigh in. But if you know that's coming, you're like, oh, I better. If that saves you from eating a pizza the night before or the couple of days before where you're like, well, I have to now put that picture on the group on Wednesday, I think I'm going to behave. That is like the real thing. Where
That's what I need. I need external accountability because I can't hold myself
yes,
accountable.
Absolutely.
I need the external accountability for sure. If I know somebody else is expecting something from me, I'll provide. But if it's just me, I'll be like, I'm good. I'll eat that pizza.
And if to get excited about something is fun, even if it's only even if you know that you're going to lose interest in it during that period, you're getting something out of that. And I always go back to when I was drinking. I couldn't stop drinking. In the last 4 years of my drinking, every night I went to bed saying, I'm done. Like I'm finished. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm done with the pills. I'm done with the drink. I'm getting my shit together tomorrow. And every morning at 5 a.m., damn it, I'm got another drink in my hand and I'm all filled up on pills, but I'm going to stop tomorrow. And then something happened and I stopped. And so the percentages were really, really small if you look at my attempts, but I've stopped and I've been stopped for a significant period of time. And there's people that come in and out of the 12-step program that, they come back in, they go back out, but think about all that time that they got to spend, recovering, at least if only for a little while. They at least got to be a part of that. So like judging things on whether they're an overall success, that's kind of hard to do. If you can get 2 days, if you can get a week, if you can get 3 weeks of feeling good about yourself and being hyped up about something, then I say go for it.
For sure. You said something happened and you stopped. What did something really happen and you stopped, or do you know what that is?
A lot of things really happened and I stopped. One was a lack of supply. My drug supply. I didn't have my amphetamines to go with my opiates, and the opiates that I was taking, I didn't have my Percocet.
Because someone took it away from you?
Because I couldn't my dealer didn't have the amount that I was needing.
He stopped about the time the DEA started coming down on controlled substances and all that.
Oh.
I'm taking between 30 and 40 10 milligram Percocet a day. Wow. And 6 to 8 Adderall.
Holy
every
crap.
day. $300, $360 a day habit.
Oh my God.
So I'm running out of money, and all I can get is Lortabs. So the amount of Lortabs that I would take at one time was 12, 14 Lortabs. 2 handfuls. I had to take them in handfuls, and I was just throwing up because I guess, I don't know from what,
Your
probably a lot
liver
of things.
rejecting the Tylenol.
All the acetaminophen, that's in those things. And so then after I would throw up, I had to have more, or else I would withdraw, so I'm like stuck in this. I'm not getting high. I'm not feeling good. I'm basically, laying down in between vomiting. So yeah, a lot happened. The person who I was married to was gone. The kids were gone. I'm in a house by myself. Things are not looking good in horror world.
Wow.
But I guess it could have gone on. People do that for years. But then one night, I just woke up the next morning, having slept with the gun, and said, something's got to give. And that's why I take it so seriously, because I don't know why that worked, because I don't see it working again. I think if I were to drink or take a pill, I don't think I would ever sober up. I just think it's too impossible from where I stand looking at it from the outside in. I could never get sober again. And I can't believe that I'm sober now. So it's like one of those things where I've got this for right now. I got to do everything that I can to hang on to it.
Wow.
It's interesting.
It's impressive. That's what it is.
So the olive branch summer shred. Kind of went wide right on that one, but
That's okay.
What do you do? What else we got on the agenda?
I was looking at the live feed. Sorry, let me switch.
Oh,
back.
can we talk about the Garmin watch face thing?
Yes, I don't even know what it is. I've just seen
You've not put it
Yeah,
on your.
Vaughn.
I haven't,
I was
Why
looking at
not?
Vaughn. I need to do it too. I was looking at
because I don't know what it is.
Check it out.
Vaughn
Can you see it
shared
from over there?
the
That is so cool.
It is the coolest thing. Like,
So
I
there's
was
an
like,
app
what?
for the Garmin watches that's called
Fit Face.
Fit Face.
If you do a search in the App Store, if you have an iPhone for Garmin Fit Face, it'll come up, and all you have to do is tell that app what picture you want to use, and you can even like I scrolled the logo down to be under the clock, and you can do it that way, and then you just save it, and it shows up on your watch.
Who
That's pretty
discovered
cool.
it?
Lynn, I think.
No, somebody in the LHRL group.
Somebody.
Oh.
I think it wasn't Elijah.
Elijah is the safe bet.
I think Elijah was the original poster of like.
We need to get Elijah on payroll.
Right?
I'm sure he wouldn't mind that. Wait, we're getting paid for this?
Fit face. I'm not.
Oh, whoops. Sorry, Brian.
Yeah, so he posted it out there, and then Lynn posted it in our Olive Branch group, Olive Branch CrossFit group, and it's been cool to see everybody like doing different things with it, and how many people are putting LHRL logo on there loud and proud.
Well, they all had like the fancier watches, and I thought, well, I just assumed it wouldn't work on mine. And then Lynn told me about the app on the iPhone, and then I went and did it, and I just tried it, thinking it wouldn't work, and it showed up. I was like, oh man, that's cool.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
You were talking about that 8-day endurance race.
Yes. It's not an endurance race. It's
All
not
right,
a
I'm
race.
sorry.
It's a
That 8-day experience.
yes.
Have you ever heard of Cliff Young? The legend of Cliff Young?
I don't think I have.
He's an Australian dude. He's 61 years old, and there's an endurance race in Australia that goes for, I don't know how many miles. Amanda, do you know
I'm sorry, what?
how many miles that Australian race is?
543.7 miles.
500. Look at
we go.
Swanson. We have Ethernet. We got hardwired. We have a router or a switch that we can have.
You got a fat guy now. Is what you
we got a fact checker.
We are halfway
Fact.
to Joe Rogan level.
That's right.
And I have been posting links as we discuss stuff.
Are you really?
Into
Yeah.
the live
Man,
feed.
Yeah.
You,
it gets
Brian?
better all the time. The game is getting upped
I'm
all the
watching
time.
him do it. I'm like, oh,
Wow,
this is
that's
awesome.
great. Did you post about Cliff Young?
I did.
Okay, 547.
43.7 miles, 875 kilometers. Since Australia uses the metric system, it's 875 kilometers.
Okay, nobody knows what kilometers
Is this the
mean.
sheep farmer?
Yes.
Okay.
So this dude shows up at this race.
In 1983.
Talk to me.
No. I just want to make sure we're. I mean, it's.
I didn't know how long ago.
Yeah,
it'd
no.
been.
It was in 1983. He shows up to this race, and he was 61 years old, and he was wearing overalls and work boots.
Yes.
And everybody
No
thought
way.
he was just there as a spectator to cheer somebody else on, and he picked up his race number and joined the other runners. And
And
this
that's
was
what he ran in.
this was in a time when basically what they did is most of the runners ran for some number of hours, which I don't think it mentions in the article, every day. Oh, they ran 18 hours a day, and then they'd sleep the remaining 6 hours. Well, he wasn't as fast as them, but he never slept. And so
He didn't know that you were supposed to.
he just didn't stop. And
Yeah. Well, he.
so
you know,
by
that's-
the end of it, so like at the end of the first night, he's X number of miles behind, but then he goes all night long, so he makes up some of that. Then the next day they go a little bit further, but he makes up even more of it. And then by the end of the 5 days or whatever, he ended up winning.
He was a sheep herder.
Yes.
And he said that when storms would roll in and the sheep would disperse, that he would spend days at a time gathering up the
We
sheep.
had
gosh.
2,000 sheep on 2,000 acres. Sometimes I would have to run those sheep for 2 or 3 days.
2 or 3
It took a
days.
long time, but I had to
Yep.
catch it. I
Wow.
So
believe
he
I can run
constantly
this.
was
Did you
running.
say he did this race in boots?
Yes.
Yeah, and
Overall-
the way
overalls
that he
and work
ran,
boots.
they call it the cliff shuffle.
And this
because
is like
the way
still a
he-
thing that is mimicked today.
Yeah.
Wow.
By endurance
There's a
runners.
documentary, I'm pretty sure, on him.
We
Yeah.
watched that.
If not, we should.
Did we
bring-
watch the documentary?
Didn't we watch it?
I don't think we did. No, we talked about it. Maybe we should watch it tonight.
I swear I see his face in my head. Maybe I just have an image of him of what I think he looks like.
Maybe we did. I don't know. We'll watch it again. Pretend like we didn't. He won.
Because those news people were up next to him asking him questions. Wasn't that him? I don't know. I may be dreaming the whole thing.
I don't know.
Today, the young shuffle has been adopted by ultramarathon runners because it's considered more energy efficient. At least 3 champions of the Sydney to Melbourne race have used the shuffle to win the race. Furthermore, during the Sydney to Melbourne race, modern competitors do not sleep. Winning the race requires runners go all night as well as all day, just like Cliff Young.
And he won like $10,000, and he didn't know there was prize money, and he gave it to the people that.
He gave it
Competing.
to other runners.
How cool
Of
is
the
that?
race.
That is super cool.
Is
man.
Cliff Young still alive?
TBD.
Surely.
TBD, as in to be determined.
Yeah.
Okay, I know what that means.
Like it
Michael
might
Scott.
I know what that means.
He passed away in 2003.
Oh, man.
That's lame.
We should have had him on here. Too bad.
Hey, I've got some fitness trivia. I think I'm going to start doing fitness trivia. I've got a question for y'all. I can't remember if I put the answer to this on the Google Sheets.
You did. Well, there is a trivia thing on the Google.
But is
Sheet.
the answer on there? Well, you don't know what the question is. So how could you know
I
that?
had to request access, so I haven't had access to it yet.
Okay. We'll get that.
We'll see.
Today in fitness history.
We'll get you vetted and then decide whether or not you're allowed in
We
there.
have to fill out the application.
Today in fitness history trivia, Charlios Vasilaskios of Greece wins the first modern marathon in the Panhellenic Games. My question to you is, do you know the answer? Did you already see the answer? Who knows what time the first modern marathon at the Panhellenic Games was completed? Who wants to answer? Raise your
The
hand.
finish time?
Yes.
5
I'll
hours.
take a guess.
5 hours, Vaughn.
I'm gonna say it was faster than that. I'm gonna say it was sub 3.
Ooh.
I'll bet you it was 2:45, 3 hours. somewhere
I say
around there.
6 hours.
You can't say 2:45 or 3 hours. You got to say what
2:45.
time it is.
6 hours.
6 hours. 3 hours and 18 minutes.
Whoa.
Well,
I knew it
Charlios was rolling
I
pretty
knew.
good.
I knew it wasn't where we're at today, because obviously we've gotten faster and better, and the equipment's gotten people more efficient. And
Well, I know there's
Training and
I know
everything
there's
else,
a
but-
thing where it took a long time to break. There's like a story about.
Yeah.
the sub-
It
the
took a
4-minute
long
mile.
time to break 4 hours. Then it took a long time for somebody to break 3 hours. And then, but once somebody breaks that 3 hours, then like everybody breaks 3 hours. And then now it's taken a long time for somebody to break 2 hours. You know,
There's a great book about the 4-minute mile. I'll get back to you on what the name of it is, but same situation where, like, it it took forever for people to get to that point. But then, like, at the point that it was broken, like a bunch of people,
Everybody's ready
all
to
of a
do
sudden.
it. Yeah.
And it's one of the, I think it's totally a mental situation where enough people say it's like today, it's not possible to run a sub 2 hour marathon. It's not
Right.
possible. And enough people believe it that they are just not going to train for it. They're not going to do it. But then somebody's going to go out there and run the sub 2 hour. And then all of a sudden you're going to see, like, all of a sudden the world record's going to be like an hour and 50 minutes or something crazy like that. You know, like,
Right.
not that it's going to drop that far, but it's going to
Can you
drop.
imagine- You know how fast that is?
That's like
That's
rolling.
like,
What is?
if I run a
What is?
if I run
An
a,
hour and
An hour
15
50
minutes.
minute
Oh, God.
if I run an
marathon.
hour and 50-minute half marathon, I'm like smoked.
Can
Right?
Can you run an hour and like if I said run to my mailbox, would the distance that you would travel equal an hour and 15-minute marathon? The speed that you traveled that distance?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't done that, Matt. Not 15. I
Hour
meant
50.
50.
Hour
50.
50. Okay.
But back to my Virginia Beach Marathon. So you start in the middle. It's very much like a Tunnel Hill type thing. You go out and
Ugh.
back one way and then come back near the finish line and then out and back the other way, right? At the point that I am at mile 13 and a half, there I am seeing people running back towards me. Those people are 13 miles ahead of me at that moment. And I just wanted to punch all of them in the face because I realized that I still had several hours in front of me. And anyways,
If you ran an hour and 50-minute marathon, it would be a 4-minute and 11-second pace.
Wow.
so it's possible.
Wow.
So that would be, I guess,
telling me
my
there's a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance.
which my 400-meter like sprint is. What is a 400-meter sprint? A minute 20.
You're right.
So I mean, you'd have to be doing that for. You just have to
26
do it
miles.
108 times or however much that would.
I mean, the world
come up
record
to.
mile is 3 minutes and 43 seconds. So, you know, it's only 20 seconds off of a world
Yeah,
record.
are you kidding me? The world record mile is 4 minutes and 43 seconds.
3 minutes
3
and 43 seconds.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah. Jesus.
That seems odd when you put it into a 26-mile perspective. You can
Huh.
run. You could run. Well, I guess nobody can do that, huh?
No, but I mean,
So-
but the thing is, I mean, it's all about perspective, though, because right now, the four of us could never run a 5-minute mile. Vaughn, you might be capable of a 6-minute mile, but I think the other three of us are not capable of a 6-minute mile. But yet, elite marathoners that run a 2:05, they're doing, it's like a 5:04 pace or something ridiculous like
Jeez.
that.
I can run a sub-6.
That's what
Mile.
I was giving you that credit.
Okay.
Yeah.
You mentioned the phenomenon about belief systems and how records don't stay records for very long for a reason. That is because people know that they can then break them. Like
Yeah.
you're given permission to break them after somebody does it. And I've got this speaker that I like to listen to. And one of the points that he made was he was talking about belief systems and the elephants in Africa. And the story he tells is that those tribesmen, when elephants are babies, they'll stake the elephants to the ground with a rope and a stake. And as they get older, they'll still continue to stake them to the ground with the same rope and the same stake.
Even though that elephant is 100 times
That's why
stronger
they say
than it was
elephants
as a
never
baby.
forget.
Correct. And they say that if the forest catches fire, they'll burn where they stand.
Because they don't know that
because
they
they
can.
believe that they can't get away from there.
Yeah.
Now, what does that have to do with the elephants never forgetting?
Well, you start when they're a baby and you stake that thing in. They never
so
forget
they
for the
know
rest of
that
their life.
they remember that they
Yeah.
can't break that. Isn't that something?
It is.
That's crazy.
2:05 marathon is a 4:46 average pace.
That's
2:02 is the world record, right?
Okay.
Amanda. She's got it on record that she
I ran a
that
marathon.
50K in 4 minutes and 41 second miles.
2:02 is a 4:39 average pace.
They listed our 50K that we did at Fall Creek Falls, even though it was only like 9 miles. They had our mile times.
It was amazing.
And Amanda
I'm like, this just brought up my my numbers in ultra running, the
Yeah,
ultra
yeah.
running sign up.
Ultra sign up.
Yep.
You did that, what's it, Yingling
Yep.
marathon? My very best friend of all time, his dad is like super salt of the earth, like super country, super awesome. My buddy Michael is talking about being broke because he just bought a new car or something, and my buddy's dad Bill said, probably if you'd start drinking Bush beer and quit drinking all that Yingling and Sam Elliott,
Sam
you would have some
Sam
more money.
Elliott, Yingling and Sam Elliott.
Oh man.
Good stuff.
Oh man, you know what? I'm about to really foul us up. It's gonna take a second. I'm off. Damn this thing. Y'all need to get Vaughn. You need to get for your podcast. You need to get a sound board,
A roadcaster.
a
is what I want.
roadcaster, and then bring it over here every week.
Can we talk about also the fact that Vaughn saved a guy's life and pulled him out of the ocean?
That's right. Tell me
What?
about
You
you
mean to
saved
tell
it.
you that story?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I feel like I saved his life, and I'll tell you
He
why.
probably is like, why is this guy grabbing me?
I mean,
Can't a guy float around?
so we're at the beach, and I'm sitting there next to my wife and kids and mother-in-law, and I'm just sitting there drinking a beer. It's like 11 o'clock in the morning, and
Doing what you do at the beach.
And I'm just sitting there, and we're watching this guy. He's a big dude, old dude. If I had to guess, 70s, late 70s maybe. He's huge. And he's standing out in the ocean watching this, what I assume is his granddaughter, just play out in the ocean.
It's his girlfriend.
No, this is, that's gross. He falls down in the water. And we saw him fall down, and he's on his hands and knees now in probably water that's up to his face. And so he's on his hands and knees, and the waves are crashing on him. And Holly and I are looking at him, and I'm going, the waves are just coming right in his, why isn't he getting up? And Holly goes, go over there and get him. So I jumped up and ran over there and grabbed him. And no lie, I'm like, everything I had, I
Wow.
wrapped my arms around this guy, and I go, come on, we got to get up. And he goes, I can't get up. And I'm like,
Oh man.
he goes, I'm not going to be able to stand up. And I said, well, what are we going to do? And he goes, I don't know.
Is he scared?
I couldn't tell. I was just like, you're going to drown if you stay here, because the waves, he's not getting up, and the waves are like, you know how the waves in the ocean, you get overwhelmed with that, especially if you can't move. And so I said, well, let's turn around, right? So I'm going to turn you around so that the waves aren't smashing you in the face. And so everything I have, this dude must have weighed 350 pounds. Like,
Really?
I'm like, "Argh!" And I turned the guy around, and I said, crawl. So I said, let's crawl up as far as you can. And so we crawled up a little ways with my arms around him. And then finally some other dude runs over there, and we help him up, and he gets up and walks out of the water. And I was like, are you okay? And he was like, yeah, I'm fine. I think he was embarrassed, maybe.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, yeah.
And so I was just like, well, I'm really glad you're okay. You should probably not go back out there, you know. And on the way in, when I was bringing him in, I look over, and his granddaughter's over there getting smashed by the waves. They're like, hey, you need to go over to Dad takes over. Dad, you need to get over out of the ocean right now. And she's just like, and she like runs over and what if he just drowned out there? What is she going to do? It just had this profound effect on me where I was like, what if we hadn't been out there?
That's funny. Just think about how lucky he is that a CrossFitter was out there, that you were out there and that you are fit enough to be of use to him and help him.
He was heavy.
That's what I'm saying.
Holly wouldn't have been able to help that guy.
He's very lucky that you or somebody like you was out there.
This is not intended to be a smart ass question in any way. When you originally approached him, was there a side of you that was unsure? Were you 100% sure that he was needing help, or was there a side of you that was
From
like,
my chair,
does this guy want me to grab him?
No, I didn't even think about it, because from my chair, what my thought in my head was that I could see the waves crashing in his face. Like, how long is that guy? And I literally sat there for like a couple good minutes telling Holly like, least the way.
It probably wasn't even a couple minutes. It was probably like 30 seconds.
Well,
It just
you know
felt
what
like
I mean.
forever.
And I'm like, Holly, is he going to get up? Like the waves are like crashing. And I just imagine like Murphy being in the water. Because you know how you ever had a little kid in the water where the waves crash them down and they can't.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And he's not moving. And the waves are like getting bigger and bigger. And I'm like, somebody's got to help that guy. Like,
Holly, go help him.
but she had to tell me, you need to go over there and get that guy.
Scott Hollis
Can I
says,
text him? Can I just send him a text? Do I have to go over there and put my arms around him?
Scott Hollis says it's also lucky that it was 11 a.m. and one beer, not 7 p.m. and all the beer.
Well, in that case, it would have been Vaughn out there trying to get out.
Yeah.
Which one of you?
No, there'd be two people needing rescuing.
Now, suddenly, we have two men that can't get out of the water.
Guys, we're going to have to do something different here.
Oh, man.
It's time for.
It's time for
Hypotheticals. It's not hard, it's super easy. Hypotheticals. It's so fun and it's oh so cheesy. Hypotheticals. Your cousin Ben and your best friend Weezy.
It's time for
Hypotheticals.
Who's at bat? Hypotheticals. This first one is tough, man. I don't know what to do.
I'll take it.
Let's let the
You'll take it. Vaughn, this is good for
you.
you.
I'll take it.
You're going to have to think long and hard about this one. You're probably going to have this opportunity or this situation.
Okay.
You are leading an army when a superior enemy army is spotted approaching on your position. You can retreat, which has a 70% chance of succeeding, or you could fire a new experimental weapon, which has a 90% chance of annihilating the enemy, but also has a 30% chance of causing so much damage that your army is wiped out.
I'm firing the
What do you do?
experimental weapon.
You press the button?
Yes. I'm going to push the button.
I'm pushing the button too.
You're going to push the button even if there's nobody to
What's
retreat
this thing's
from.
gonna
You're just
do?
gonna, damn it, Amanda. We told you not to hit that button. Thirsty?
I'd probably hit the button.
You don't seem really into this. I work hard on these hypotheticals, and you're over there on the computer.
He's watching porn.
No, I would. I'm pretty sure I would.
I'd really
I'd
want
hit
to
the
see what
button.
that thing could do, for sure.
Well, you can't retreat. That's like a rule, right?
No.
Like if you're the
not
leader
in
of an army, you have to go into battle. You can't.
No, I think that
You just have to be the last man off the field if you're the commander.
I think that it's based on your situation.
Okay.
Now, if you're on a boat, you can't. If you're the captain of a boat, you can't jump off. You got to go
You
down
got
with your
to go
boat.
down with
yeah,
the
you
ship.
gotta get down with it. Like
But I don't know
Titanic.
how that works. You should find Thirsty. Do you know that?
Which part?
Pull it up. If you're like who's the big dog in the army? The colonel, general.
General.
If you're the general of an army, when can you retreat? And do you have to be the last guy?
Well, first of all, we don't have wars like that anymore, right? Second of all, the general is not.
He's not going to be out
The
there.
general is like in Washington D.C. or something like.
Oh, really?
Right? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm talking
Yeah.
Well,
about.
they're not in Washington, but
But
they're
they're
They're not
safe.
out on the
Right,
field.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're not in the
They're not a battle.
line of fire.
So
Okay.
nowadays, I don't even think it's like you're on a mission, right? And if you get outnumbered on a mission, you abort.
Yeah, right?
Right.
I think so.
Let's go to extraction.
Well,
It's not-
what are you gonna do? Abort?
No, I'm hitting the button for sure. Yeah. I'm hitting the button before we even get on the bus to go.
I'd be like, you see that bumblebee? I could take that bumblebee out.
Let's just see what happens. See that big old rock? We shoot at that big old rock. 5 years ago, how do you think you... Did I already ask this? 5 years ago, how do you think you would have answered the question, where do you see yourself in 5 years? If it's not where you are today, are you happy with the changes? So the question is, if 5 years ago you would have been asked, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And you thought about where that was, do you wish that you would have gotten there, or are you happier now with what you have? Does that make sense?
Oh, it makes perfect sense. That's a tough question.
There have been quite a few times in my life that I had,
Pull that microphone in your mouth.
sorry, that I had like a 5-year plan, and I got very, very close, like big lofty goals, got very, very close several times. 5 years ago, I don't know that I think I was kind of on cruise control at that point. Let's see, this is 2019, so that would have been 2014. My consulting business had already closed down. I'd taken a full-time job with my largest customer because that was the only way I could pay the bills. I was just grateful to be paying the bills and to be able to get up and go do something every day and that kind of a thing. So, am I where I would have thought I would have been? Yeah, probably. Because I was coming off of such a bad beat that I was just grateful to be able to keep moving forward.
Okay. I have made 5-year plans at least 2 times in the last 5 years. Neither of them got anywhere close to coming to fruition. I don't think I've ever been in a place where I could make a realistic 5-year plan until I think I could probably make a 5-year plan here pretty soon. Not today, but that's my answer to that. So.
Well, I was coming out of a terrible relationship, so I was hoping for good things.
Still waiting.
So, I mean, I'm happy where I'm at now, for sure.
I mean, it's not a terrible relationship.
Wilson, we love you, man. We love you, Wilson.
And I guess that's about the time I met you. Was it 2014?
I can't remember.
I can't
Wow,
either.
you guys been together that long?
It was
That's amazing.
It
We
was
got
very
married
early
in
on.
2015, right? I don't know.
2014, I think, is probably
I
correct.
think we got married in 2015.
How long were y'all dating before you got married?
8 months.
Yeah, I bet you it was 2014.
Something like that.
So anyway,
No, seriously, that's awesome, though. I mean,
I've come before that. I didn't think my life was going to be really good at all. So this is awesome.
So let me turn it around on you, Wilson. Where are you going to be in 5 years?
I think if I'm at a place where I know that where I'm going to be in 5 years, that I'm not in the place that I want to be at all. I don't want to have that kind of.
You don't want to have that kind of a vision or.
No, I think it's too much fun letting it ride the way that it is, and I'm too.
Do you make? I mean, so by the fact that you're doing like this boot camp, you're at least making like a 6-month plan or a 1-year plan, or like you have this goal of getting a programming job, right? To supplement what you've been doing previously.
Mm-hmm.
So how far out is far enough for you as far as making a plan?
Not any time at all. I don't know what that looks like. I know I need to do the next right indicated thing, and right now it's being in the boot camp and hopefully, getting a job as a programmer.
I might actually agree with you. I think that might actually be the smartest answer. Why don't you just enjoy what you're doing, and whatever comes, that's part of your story, right? Like,
I don't know that it's smart
ride it
or advisable, but I know that I like it.
Well, the only reason I say that is because because I've made some 5-year plans that I thought were going to come true. So let's say that you make a 5-year plan, and a year later, all of a sudden something else you don't even want it. You realize that's not even what I wanted to do.
Well,
to begin with, right?
The 5-year plan's not immutable. I mean, it can obviously change and become whatever you want it to be. But like, there's still, I don't know. I kind of go back and forth about it. The only reason why I think, and it doesn't have to be a 5-year plan, but I think it's a situation where if you don't know where you want to be, then how do you know what to say yes and no to?
Because you like it, because it's something that you want to do.
Fair enough. And my mentality has definitely changed more to that mode over the last few years. Especially with I got to experience living like I was dying because my wife was dying, and so I stopped worrying about the how or the why and just doing the experience, and stopped worrying about owning the things and just worried about making memories and that kind of a thing.
Sure.
So I totally agree with that.
But I want. Go ahead.
Well, the only kind of further thing that I wanted to say about it is just it's a situation where we all have people that rely on us. We all have things that ultimately we need to accomplish. And until we win the lottery and can wake up each day and just decide, no, I think I'm going to go do this today, then there has to be some sort of plan, whether we admit it or not, or whether we, and so my only thought is that you don't know what to make a priority, and you don't know what to say yes or no to if you don't have some idea of where you want to go.
And I think your programming analogy was great, because I totally buy into that. I can say, look, I'm trying to be a programmer. In 5 years, or in 6 months, I need to at least know this language. In 3 months, I need to be able to build this.
Yeah.
In 5 years, I need to be able to build this app. From
well,
a personal,
in 5 years, he doesn't know that he still wants to be a programmer. A year from now, he doesn't know that he still wants.
Sure.
He may decide after he does his boot camp, you know what, I don't want to do that, and I want to go do something else. That's totally a possibility, but you're at least deciding now, you think you want to be a programmer, and you're using that to replace your other income or whatever. And so you said yes to the boot camp because that is a step towards becoming a programmer. And I'm just saying, you have to know what to say yes or no to, or you end up saying yes to the wrong things, or yes to too many things that take away from the things that are priorities, and that kind of thing. And
okay,
anyways.
I'll say one more thing. In the past, all of my plans like that were based around money, and I think that's a problem.
I agree.
Right. So in X amount of years, I need to be having this much money, right? And that has zero to do with your 5-year plan. If you're making a 5-year plan and it has anything monetary in it, I think that's a bad move.
Well, the only way to know
that's
the right or wrong answer is all going to be situational, and the only way to know that is to look back after 5 years, and some people are going to be right, some people are going to be wrong. Sure. But you did mention winning the lottery, and you have to remember I've done that.
Right.
And so everything that I planned, that I believe that I would want for happiness, it didn't bring it. So how good are my plans anyway? If I would have planned to win that, to get that much money, and I got it, then it was a really shitty plan.
Fair enough.
So if I say I want to do this, then I'm well aware of the fact that I really don't know what makes me happy.
Right.
And so the only way for me to kind of find my happiness is to just do what makes me happy. And if I would have had a plan to do this, that, or the other, and then the lift heavy run long came up, and I was like, well, that's not really part of my plan. I need to focus on my plan. And then, the podcast and all this audio stuff isn't part of my plan. Then I miss out on all this stuff. So I think that, in some situations it works. And then, if this falls on its face, and so do I, then you look back, you're like, well, you should have had a plan.
I agree. and I'm not saying that the plan isn't malleable. I'm just saying, you just have to be honest about what your priorities are, and that's how you decide what you want to do and what you don't want to do and that kind of a thing. And if having fun is a big priority, then you say yes to all the things that are fun, like doing the podcast and being a part of LHRL and stuff like that. That's why I'm here. We're we're not making money. We're not getting rich or famous off of this. I get to show up once a week and hang out with 3 of my best friends and talk about whatever, and that's why I'm here. I mean, that's why I said yes.
Well, that was the best hypothetical ever.
That was a great hypothetical and a great show. And that show is now over because we're 10 minutes overdue. Lift Heavy Run Long number 139 is in the books.
Boom.
Thanks for listening.